Given all the talk about unidentified flying objects, I suppose the Ukrainian Navy and Secret Service and operative control room was having a bit of a joke when it said that unidentified floating objects were to blame for the drone attack on the blew a hole in the side of the Russian warship in the Black Sea Navy base that the Russians think is impregnable. Well, now clearly it's not impregnable. In Moscow, they said there are certain unidentified flying objects. Here we have unidentified floating objects that have obviously damaged this landing ship. This is Andriy Yusov, a spokesperson for the Ukraine's Defense Intelligence Agency. And it's the Russian naval base in Crimea is supposed to be beyond the range of Ukrainian attacks, as is Moscow. And Ukraine has demonstrated very clearly that if Putin wishes to bring his offensive invasion into the heart of Ukraine, well, Ukraine can respond in kind. And at the moment, the Russian population doesn't seem to be overly concerned. They sort of shrug at the thought of missiles hitting the business area. But maybe this is what is needed to persuade the cowed Russian population to respond. Because when I speak to Russians, and I do so on probably every day, the people I speak to are certainly not Putin supporters, and they provide me with all manner of entertaining stories, some of which I pass on, some of which I don't pass on. But, the people are not happy in Russia, but they are terrified of speaking out because the range of recrimination, the range of attacks that Putin can impose on ordinary people is extensive and completely flattening. People can be drafted into the army. People can be imprisoned for quite modest issues. And footage has been released by Ukraine showing the moment of the impact of their unidentified floating object. And we've seen other videos of a plume of smoke rising in the skies above the Russian vessel. And while satellite imagery seems to show a leak from the port side and a tipping of the boat. The strike was apparently coordinated by the Ukraine Security Service and the Navy. I think this is positive. I would prefer to see more of these strikes and less of the strikes in Moscow, but it is about persuading Mr. Putin that this operation is futile and this operation cannot be won. It's either going to linger on like the Afghan war, which would be horrific, or it's going to end up in military and political disaster for Putin. Or there is a third scenario, which is the one which nobody really dares to breathe a word about, which is Putin's escalation.